Things are getting weird. Last night was a weird ass night. I don't know if you guys had like a weird night, but last night was weird. The wife and I was settling in. She was done studying, and we put on Love Island. And I don't want to hear it. Oh, you watch Love Island? Yes, I do. And you probably watch it too. It is very entertaining. That shit is entertaining. So I do not want to hear it. If you're a man and say, "Oh, you watch Love Island?" Yes, I do. I do. We do. But anyway, like I said, last night was like weird. It was like a lightning storm going on, and you could just see all the lightning like striking the city. It was like crazy. And I stepped outside because I thought it was like pouring raining, but it was like really drizzling. And you could just hear voices. You could just hear like chatter, like people. It wasn't like they're playing in the rain, it was just people in the rain. And the crazy thing is, when there's lightning and stuff, as humans we're scared. So it wasn't like people was outside just just playing in the rain because you're scared of lightning. And it wasn't anybody. Like, I could look down from my balcony and you could see no one, just chatter. No one was there. So it was like weird last night. But anyway, thank you guys for coming back to my vlog.
We interrupt our programming to bring you the following special report.
When I'm with a girl, going for a ride, I'm checking out Lavert's cooling, slow.
Like I said in my very first vlog, I believe I'm a great storyteller. I have a lot of stories to tell, and part of this vlog that I'm doing is exploring DC one last time. Like I mentioned in my first video, my wife is in her third year of medical school, and I think August or September will be starting her fourth year, and then next year around this time we will be leaving DC because she will be a resident, and she'll be starting what she had worked for all these years. She'll be an actual doctor, so we're super excited. But we're going to explore DC one last time. We're going to try new food, restaurants. We're going to order in some of our favorite foods, and I'm going to share it with you guys because DC is not like one of the best places for food. DC is a great place to make connection. DC is a great place for happy hour. Might not have happy hour prices, but getting out there and talking to people. And if you love talking to people, especially wanting to know what people do for work, this is a place. If you're looking for some of the, I want to say like top tier people who are working hard, even if they're working for the federal government or anything else, this is a really good place to be. Some good people do live here. Some people are very standoffish, but it overall is a good place to live. But anyway, so let's just dive into the topic today. But before I dive into it, I have to say, I did something crazy. I did something wild. I made a video, a audition tape for Survivor. Now, I am a huge fan of Survivor, and I've been a big fan of Survivor since like 2008 when I was in the army station in South Korea. And there I was on CQ with a guy. I was a soldier, he was a sergeant, and he was watching it, but he was watching the first season. And it was like this one part where the very first winner, Rich, he was getting yelled at by somebody, and that woman was going in on him, just going in on him. And I'm like, wow, what is this? And he told me it was Survivor, and I was hooked. So 2008 was the first time I saw Survivor, and I was hooked ever since then. And ever since then, I always felt like I could do that show. I felt like I could go in and win and go compete at a high level. And I just never did the video. And I always say I could do that, but never made a video. And my wife is the type of person that would tell you, just do it. It's no harm, no foul. Like, if you just do it and see what happens. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But don't say you want to do something and don't even try. So I actually made a video over this past weekend. I sent it in, and finger crossed, I'll get on one of the season. So if anybody that works for Survivor or knows somebody from Survivor on casting, I really want to be on the show. I would love to be on the show. But anyway, what do I have for you guys today? I think one of the things that I wanted to talk to today and tomorrow, we'll be out in DC and we'll find something good to eat, something good to drink or whatever. But today I wanted to talk about a little bit about me and again about being married. One thing that I see a lot on like social media is, can a man be married to a woman that makes more than them? And if you make more, who's in charge? And I think that you can have it all. And what I mean about that, I think a man can be married to a woman who makes more than them, because when my wife wanted to be an anesthesiologist, and after her residence, she might jump to like $500,000 or a little bit more than that. I probably would not make that at a job unless I make VP or senior VP level, because that's what they make a year with like base salary and bonus. And if I don't make that in like 6 years, I probably won't be making that. But does that diminish me as a man, or does that make me feel like I'm less than? No, because I bring a lot to this relationship, and monetary or money, it just does not make or break the relationship, especially if you both have like a common goal, like, hey, we want to save enough money for this so that we can retire at this age or whatever. And I see a lot where I guess you will hear women always say that men cannot be in a relationship with a woman who make a lot of money. I think we can. And I think you can be in that type of relationship, and it can be a successful relationship, because a relationship is just built off of trust. And if you leave your ego at the door, nothing really matters. Everybody's going to have a bad day in a relationship. Everybody's going to feel some type of way. We're humans. However, does money make you better than anyone? No, because my wife is going to be way more educated than me anyway. I stopped at a master's. She got a doctor. She's an MD. So she's going to be way more educated than me. And most of you guys know, in the corporate world, sometimes it's up to you, but it's really who you know or how you can. It's very hard to just advance all the way up there. You really got to know some people. You really got to be doing your job and going above and beyond, and more importantly, just networking. If you don't know how to network, then you might not get that director or VP role. But yeah, I see this a lot, and it's like a very like touchy subject. Can a man be with a woman who makes more than them? And I think you can, unless that woman feel some type of way and she can't be with a man that makes less than them. And I'm really talking making sure that you're in almost the same tax bracket. And I'm not saying if a woman who makes $500,000 a year and that man makes $60K, that might work, but he might be more of a home caretaker. I think that's what it is. And if you guys have kids, he might have to pick up more on the load with the kids while she's bringing in more of the money. And I think that's a great balance. But if both people are working and contributing to the household, I think you guys have to treat it as a doubles, like a tennis double, or some type of two-man team where both people are equally contributing and equally important in that relationship. And I think that's where a lot of people don't see the value in that. Like, money comes, money go. You never know what's going to happen. But if you see more of the value in your person, your wife, your partner, then that money is going to be addition to it. My wife won't make that much money until like maybe 5 years from now, where she'll jump up into that high tax bracket. And hopefully we'll build a stronger relationship and keep building a strong relationship where money doesn't come to play, because we have a goal. We both want to live abroad. We both want to do a certain lifestyle abroad. And we know that in the next like 8-10 years, we're going to work hard. We're going to save hard so that we can go do what we want to do and live abroad long as the world is still standing. So yeah, that is my take on that. And I do see a lot of people, I do understand, but once you leave the ego at the door and just leave it there, then you can have a great relationship, because money does ruin a lot of people. And if you come in with your own money and you work hard, or you have your own career, focus on your career, but then make sure that you prioritize the relationship, and you guys will be fine. So yeah, that was my take on that. What's next? I think another thing that I wanted to talk about was like weight. And when you get a little bit older, how it is really hard to lose it. And is it harder to get rid of happy weight? And I think getting rid of happy weight is a lot harder than getting rid of weight when you're single. And I think that is something that I have been noticing is I'm truly happy in my relationship, but that weight is hard. And I think I'm going to put a picture right here. Before, in like 2017, I was big, and you guys will probably never even, you probably wouldn't even recognize me back in 2017. I don't think I had any tattoos, but I was big. And to what I looked like when I got like my healthiest, when I was just about me, and what I also looked like when I met my wife, and then happy. Like when I met my wife, I was a vegan, and now I'm a vegetarian, because she she kind of said you gotta put some cheese in your diet, because she's from Connecticut, and Connecticut's supposed to have like really good pizza. So she like, you gotta try this pizza. So after like so many years, I met my wife. Like, we have both gained some pounds. We lost some weight, but then sometimes it's just hard. We love to eat, and living in a city like DC, DoorDash is like one of the best things to happen to people who live in the city. You have food at your fingertip, and then I have a restaurant in my building. Then I have a restaurant across from my building. I'm talking about like, it will probably take me longer to go down the elevator than to walk out the front door of my building to get to the restaurant. And I'll show you guys a picture. Like, it's really close. But everything is at your fingertip, and you would think that you lose weight because sometimes you gotta walk, but I'm a remote worker, so it's sometimes hard. But how do you guys feel about that? Have you guys ever noticed that when you're in a relationship, you gained weight, but it's happy weight, and then you guys look in the mirror and you're like, wow, we looked like this? And the crazy thing is, my wife and I met in the gym, so we laugh about that. We've been doing 2-a-days, so I'll just put a video up here of what it's been like, but we've been doing 2-a-days, so we're trying to cut down the weight. She got her class pictures that's coming up, so she's getting herself ready, and I got to stand next to somebody that's fit, so I got to get myself right. But anyway, yeah, so that's something else that's been going on, is doing 2-a-days, losing weight, and yeah, that is it. But before I end, like I said, I want to talk about like current events, because I think being in America, we sometimes feel like we are maybe in a zoo, and everybody's eyes are on us, and no matter what political side you believe in, being American, and we should think of being American first. And when we grew up, or at least when I remember growing up, like, America was supposed to be the melting pot of the world, and I know we're very polarized now on both sides of who should come in America, who should not come in America. Are you legal or are you not legal? And I think that's a very touchy subject, because if you are a patriot, and if you call yourself a patriot, I don't like one side being called a patriot and the other one don't, because if you love your country, you're going to be a patriot no matter what. But you do feel some type of way if people are coming into the country illegally. And I was having a conversation with a gentleman at the bar the other day, and he brought up about people coming into the country illegally and how he was against it. And I sometimes just allow people to talk because I don't want to really give my opinion on certain subject, because I sometimes just don't feel it's my job to change somebody's mind. But he said that he could not go to another country and just gain citizenship just like that. It's going to be hard for him to do so. And then he also said that I know right now we got this birthright citizenship that's going on. And he also said something that we could not go to another country and have a child and that child automatically be a citizen of that country. And is it fair that we're one of the only countries in the world that does that? And I never really thought of that, and never really made me think, because my wife and I have joked about it would be cool to have a child maybe born in the UK or born in England, and have a child that was half British, half American, or a child abroad. I mean, we just thought about that. We thought it would be cool, but then I started to look at it. I could not. So my child, I would actually have to be a UK citizen for my child to be a UK citizen, and I would have to be there for 10 years. Then that child would get it. So that made me think about it, of coming into America and coming in the right way versus the wrong way. And then it made me go down a deep dive of the migrant crisis that's happening within Europe and how those people feel. And then I went down a deep dive, because it's just not like Europe or a United States having a big problem. South Africa is having the same problem also. So is there a way to fix it? And I don't think there's a way to fix it, because a lot of countries, including the United States, we portray our country as being the land of the free and the home of the opportunity. And if you grow up and you watch TV, you watch movies, you watch now social media, and the lifestyle that we have, certain people who put on social media, you might want that because it's hard for you and your country. But then I always look on the other side of it. We have so many people, and we call them expat, that leave the United States and go to this country and say it's the best thing since sliced bread. So which I don't understand that, because you would have people leave that country to come to America and say they want a better life. But then you have people from America that go to these countries like, my life is better over here. So all that tells me is that the country is not supporting their people like they should. The country is not supporting their people like they should. If an American could go there and thrive and say this is the best thing, and it's all about infrastructure. If your organization is not, organization. Let me get out talking about corporate. If your country is not building that infrastructure and bringing in jobs and building up the rural areas so that people can have a life, then I understand why they're leaving. And that's no way for somebody to live. And it's hard, because it's hard for them. And the reason why, because in this Western civilization, we're taking their resources, and their big corporation or their big whatever, their political system in that country is selling these resources, and they're getting fat, while the people don't have a chance to make money and have a decent way of life. So it's very hard to not feel for these people who are leaving. But it's also, if you are a patriot in your country, I definitely understand where you don't want your way of life to change just so somebody else can have a better way of life. So I think that is what I wanted to talk to you guys today. Again, this vlog starting tomorrow. We're going to be out in the streets of DC. I don't know where I'm going to go eat. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to make my first video outside of this apartment and have a mix between the apartment and the streets of DC. So yeah, and I do not know what this says. This TV that I have behind me is called the Frame TV, and this says behind me, never ending resolution. I think that's what it said, never ending resolution. So yeah. If you guys ever wonder about the TV and why the picture's always changing, it's called a frame TV. So yeah, Samsung's. But anyway, this is my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a comment, please like, and please subscribe to my channel. And let's chat. Again, this vlog is all about me talking random ass shit. And again, we're going to be in DC. I'm going to introduce my dog, my other animals. So I have a Great Dane, I have a cat, and I have a Yorkie. And then more importantly, I'm going to introduce my wife. I'm going to try to get her out of the room so her and I can go do something this weekend. And until then, guys, I will see you guys later.